So today we're going to try and break down a really fascinating and honestly pretty complex company called OAK Inc. It's this wild story of huge promises, mind-boggling financial guarantees, and a vision that stretches all the way from Vietnam to Japan. So what is really going on inside OAK Inc? Let's dig in. It all kicks off with a question that I'm sure keeps a lot of parents up at night. I mean, with AI and automation just completely reshaping everything, the old ways of getting ahead, they just don't feel so certain anymore, right? So how do you possibly prepare the next generation for a future that we can barely even imagine? Okay, so faced with that massive problem, what does OAK Inc. bring to the table? Well, they say they have the solution. It's a system. And as you're about to see, it is a very, very particular kind of system. Their big flagship product is this piece of software called AI Cares for Your Children. The whole idea is to give kids aged 14 to 24 the skills and, more importantly, the mindset of Japan's super elite. We're talking entrepreneurship, sales, leadership, the whole package. And they make it clear this isn't just about reading textbooks. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about learning new skills. Oak makes an almost unbelievable financial promise, a promise that completely transforms this from, a simple software purchase into a massive, high-stakes bet on your child's future. The price for a license is 240 million Vietnamese dong. Let that sink in. That's over 10,000 US dollars. I mean, that is a serious investment for any family, anywhere. But this is the twist. Oak offers this incredibly powerful bank-backed guarantee. The deal is, if the person using the software doesn't earn back that full 240 million dong within 9 months, an independent bank, and that's key, it's not Oak, will refund every single penny. So on paper, it looks like there's literally no financial risk at all. And this is exactly how they frame it. You can see the pitch, right? On one side, you've got traditional education. It's high risk, your money's tied up with the school, and there's absolutely no guarantee of an outcome. Then, on the other side, you've got the OAK system, completely risk-free capital, held by a bank with a guaranteed financial target. It's a very, very persuasive argument. But hang on, because this high-tech software, that's just the first layer of the onion. When you start to zoom out, you realize you're looking at this huge, sprawling international corporation with goals that honestly sound like they're pulled straight out of a sci-fi novel. And look, this isn't some brand new startup. Their official history goes all the way back to a Japanese lab in 2007, founded on blockchain technology of all things. From there, it just evolves through this series of companies in both Vietnam and Japan. And as you can see, their plans are only getting bigger. And their long-term goals are just monumental. First, they want to train 1 million high-quality workers in Vietnam, okay? Second, they plan to capture a huge chunk of the hundreds of billions of dollars in Japanese investment flowing into Southeast Asia. And third, they want to help make Japan a tax-free nation by 2050. I mean, these aren't just business goals. They are plans to fundamentally reshape entire economies. Which, of course, leads us to the billion-dollar question. Or, I guess, the 240 million dong question. How is all of this supposed to be funded? How does a company that sells educational software plan to transform entire nations? And this is where the skepticism naturally kicks in. I mean, with promises this huge, you have to wonder, right? Is this a legitimate, sustainable business model? Or is it just, a Ponzi scheme, taking money from new people to pay off the earlier ones? To their credit, OAK acknowledges that people think this, and that claim they are committed to being transparent. So, according to their own official documents, a massive 80% of their revenue comes from that one single piece of software. It really seems to be the financial heart of the whole operation. But is it really? Because then we find this. It's a quote from an internal coaching call where a mentor, someone high up, says that income from selling software should only be about 30% of the total. So, wait a minute, which one is it? Is it 80% or is it 30%? This huge contradiction suggests there's another, much bigger part of this whole business that we haven't seen yet. And that might just lead us to something called the K1 experiment. This could be the missing piece of the puzzle. Now, this is not their fancy, expensive software. It's a $50 ebook that's designed to help people create value using AI, a totally different product with what seems like a totally different goal. And when you put the two products side by side like this, the bigger strategy starts to make a bit more sense. The flagship software is super high priced, but it's low scale. It's for wealthy parents and investors. The K1 ebook, on the other hand, is super low price, but it's built for massive scale. It's targeting those 1 million workers they want to train. This right here seems to be the real engine for that grand vision, and it might just be where that other mysterious 70% of revenue is supposed to come from. Okay, so we've got the products, we've got the grand vision, but the final piece of this whole puzzle is the culture. What's it actually like to be inside the oak ecosystem? On one hand, you hear these incredible success stories, like this one from Bik Hung. She was a teacher who became a top performer. And her words, they just radiate this culture of absolute, unwavering belief and trust in the system. But then you hear this. This is a mentor describing this incredibly intense, high-pressure world where if your financial performance is bad, they call it the red zone, it results in these bizarre punishments, like being forbidden from showering or even leaving your room. That is a radically different picture of life inside OAK. And as you dig through their internal documents, it just gets weirder. You find these cryptic, totally unexplained phrases, all for the 20 million USD suitcase. What does that even mean? Or hashtag BTC2, where love begins. They hinted this deeper story, this secret language that only people on the inside really get, just adding another layer of mystery to the whole thing. So what is OAK Inc? Is it a revolutionary company changing the face of education, a brilliant and maybe misunderstood business model, or is it an intense, high-pressure system that has a much darker side? The answer, it seems, really depends on who you ask. And maybe it just depends on which part of the story you choose to believe.